Hello again, Dominic Trophy, and welcome to another video. And this one's going to be another tech-related review. And this one's actually going to be another game console, but definitely something I wanted to review. And this one's going to be a bit of a mini retro console. And this one is actually going to be about the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, Classic Mini Console, whatever the heck you call it. So basically, the Super Nintendo Classic Mini Console. Now, for those, that don't know, basically, it's a little mini Super Nintendo. It's actually not a bad, machine and stuff. Like I said, you got the box and stuff, which looks quite nice, so it does. You got all the games in there. I quite like it. It's definitely, I'd say a little bit more stylish than the NES Classic Mini. But it still looks nice, you know what I mean? So yeah, the box. So this is the system, the Super Nintendo, the SNES Mini, I'll just call it. It looks quite stylish, overall. Obviously, it does look like the Japanese, style. Obviously, the Japanese and the European Super Nintendo basically had the same style. Apart from it was called Super Nintendo over here, but in Japan it was called Super Famicom. So basically that's what it is. So obviously I'll show you the front of it, which is there. You have a power button on there, so you do, to turn the system on. You have it's a fake eject button and stuff. Obviously it doesn't work and stuff. It's there, I think, for like the design of it, you know what I mean? You've got a reset button there, so, to reset it and go back to the main menu. You've got basically a fake cartridge slot, which doesn't do anything, like there, as I just said, for the style. There's nothing on that side. There's nothing on that side. On the back of it, you've got a HDMI port and a DC in to power the system up. And on the front, you've got obviously the controller parts. Now, obviously, when you look at it, you think, well, how the heck do they fit on there? Basically, it's a little flap that goes up like that. So basically, it's a little flap. And you've got the controller ports on there, which are the same as the bottom of the Wii remote, which you can, you can use on a Wii or a Wii U. And that's pretty much it, really. And then you just got the bottom of it and stuff. So yeah, the style of it looks really, really nice. Obviously, it's the same design of a Super Nintendo. And I think, looks nice. That's all I can say, really. It looks quite nice. Another thing I will show off are the controllers. Now, the thing that makes this system a lot better is it actually includes two controllers, which I have here. Two controllers. Now, that's the one thing I like with the Super Nintendo Classic Mini, is that it comes with two controllers. When you compare to the NES Classic Mini, it only came with one controller. And overall, they were actually quite difficult to find. I remember once the system came out, controls for it became out of stock. And I don't think I've ever seen, those controllers in any store ever released. So a lot of companies started releasing third-party controllers. And when I showed off my latest pickups video, I showed off that I got a third-party NES controller for the NES Mini, and the control's really, really long. And it plays really, really well, so it makes it a lot easier that way. So I'm glad that Nintendo bundled these Super NES Mini consoles with two controllers. One thing that makes the system a little bit different compared to the NES Classic is that this includes less games. Now, the NES Classic included 30 games, whereas this includes 21. 21 sounds like an odd number, you know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. It's like saying, oh, well, we're including, they're like buying a bag of sweets and you get 39 of them. That's such an odd number, you know what I mean? It's just the way it goes. Oh, we're including 16, it's just a strange number. But obviously it includes 20 games, including a bonus game. Now, the bonus game that's actually included in the Super Nintendo, in the SNES Mini, I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but yeah, because I know a lot of people sort of call it the SNES over here, but the thing with the Super Nintendo Mini is it actually includes Star Fox 2, which was basically an unreleased game. Now, you might be thinking, well, why was that included? Now, I'm not entirely sure why it was included. Maybe because of the fact that they want to give it a proper release, I don't know. But when it was announced that it was going to be included, everyone got really, really excited. And the reason why, you might be thinking, well, why are people getting excited from an old game? Because it was never released. The story behind it was supposed to have been released in the summer of 1995. And what ended up happening was the game got cancelled and delayed and all that sort of stuff. And obviously it ended up getting cancelled. And that was because of the fact that the 3D on the Super Nintendo sort of made the system look bad. Basically, Nintendo was a bit embarrassed to release this new hyped game up on old technology when you had, Sony with the PlayStation and Sega the Saturn alongside the others such as, the 3DO, the Atari Jaguar, and you had all sorts of different systems. So basically, Nintendo basically came out and said, okay, we're going to cancel this game, and hopefully we may see, something happen with the Nintendo 64. They wanted to release this game, but they didn't want to release it on old technology, so that's why the game got cancelled and stuff. So yeah, my thoughts about the games I've played, because I've played a few games on this and stuff. I quite love playing these games on it. It's really, really good. I think the controller feels really, really nice, because I actually do have an actual Super Nintendo. I've had one for around like 4 years. The reason I bought one, an actual Super Nintendo, was because of the fact I wanted to get into those games. Now, it's good to play them on the Virtual Console, but I thought, well, I want to definitely get an actual Super Nintendo and play some games on it and, enjoy it and stuff. And I played a lot of F-Zero on it. It's really, really good. And the controller just felt nice to me. I was like, wow, this is really, really nice controller. And it was just comfy in the hand. And one thing with this, obviously, it runs it through HDMI and it's a lot more easier. Like I said, you got the games built in. And it's definitely good to see, that Nintendo brought this out and stuff, because a lot of people like to play the old games, but they don't want to play them in like the old, with composite and stuff. Now that don't really bother me. I don't mind playing these old consoles on, on a HD television. I don't mind. Because I want to play them and stuff. Obviously, I do have a CRT, but I don't really care, as long as the game is fun, that's all I care about. I've played games at like 20, 30 years old, and they don't bother me, and they actually are great games, that's just how it goes. But it's pretty cool. I think that's the one thing I like about, with the little Super Nintendo. Little great, little machine, and I think it's great for a lot of the youngins out there, especially, I'd say around like my age and even younger, because a lot of the younger generation never experienced the Super Nintendo, or even the NES for that matter, because they were not around when they were a thing, So it definitely gives, I think, old fans to relive these older games and, play them again. But I think it also gives new memories to the younger generation, as well as myself, because obviously I've not played every single Super Nintendo game and stuff. Even if I played a few of them on the Virtual Console, it's quite nice to play this little machine, hook it up, and, play some great old classics, It's a nice thing. And it's well worth it and stuff. One thing I do like is that Nintendo supported the Super NES Mini a lot better than the NES Mini. Because they knew that they lacked demand with the NES, and they definitely definitely increased the amount of, stock for this little machine. Because I know there's a few stores I've seen that are actually properly carrying this, which is really, really good. Like with the NES Mini, I never saw any stores carry it, Whereas this, I see stores carrying tons of these, like one store I've seen, like they have 4 on shelf, which is a good thing. So it's a little great machine, well worth it and stuff. It's a little nice little, retro console, really, really good and stuff. Well worth the time, And I like it and stuff. I think with the controls, it's great that you can, use them on the Wii and the Wii U, which is, great. Because if you've got some Virtual Console games, you know, mainly Super Nintendo stuff, you can play them with an actual controller and stuff, and it's really, really good. It's well worth it and stuff. Because there's actually a few games I played on it. I think I played, remember I played, well, it wasn't a Super Nintendo game. I remember I played Mighty Number 9 on the Wii U. And I played it with an NES controller at first, but obviously it didn't fully support the whole buttons. Because obviously it lacks a lot of buttons. But when I played it on a Super Nintendo one, I was like, wow, this is really, really nice. And playing Mighty Number 9 on the Wii U with a Super Nintendo controller is really, really good. It feels like it was made with this controller, if you know what I mean. Really, really good. Obviously, you do need Wii Remote for that, you know what I mean, to connect it. But apart from that, you know, focus on the SNES Mini. A great device, full of great games and stuff, and is well worth playing if you want to play some great classics and stuff. And I quite like that and stuff. And actually, another thing with the NES Mini is that Nintendo is actually bringing it back this year. You know, it was like on shelf, I think, for like several months. And sorry, pardon me. And then they're bringing it back this year, which was a huge shock for a lot of people. And I hope that when they bring that back, that you meet flipping demand for once Nintendo. You know what I mean? We don't want to see the days of the Nintendo Wii, the GameCube control adapter for the Wii U, the Amiibos, and obviously the little mini retro consoles. We do not want to see that again. Obviously, it's going to happen. Happen with the Switch. So, you know what I mean? Nintendo doesn't listen to people. So, yeah. I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And I know it was a little bit different talking about something with the, you know, little Super Nintendo Mini. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you all on Tuesday. See you later. Bye.